Hello, welcome to Tarot Talk. Every show is a different guest. I invite only experienced readers. We compare my deck and their deck. We dive in, we discuss the differences, we try to get to the core meaning of these tarot cards. So enjoy the show, and if you want us, please reach us for readings. Hi there, everybody. Welcome to Tarot Talk. This is our third one, and I'm really excited by the feedback I'm getting from people watching so far. I've been approached by other readers who want to participate. So if you are also an experienced reader and you'd like to come on this segment, then you can just message me below the video. So Tarot Talk is something that I just had this flash to start because a lot of the time when you see people online reading tarot, we're giving readings to other people, and you see the side of us that is channeling the cards and trying to come up with how to interpret somebody's question while channeling something. And it's not often that we get to see two readers going at it, having an actual discussion about the tarot and showing the depth of knowledge that we have about the cards and just in general. So I wanted to showcase other readers. I wanted to get into good conversations, and it will also be a great teaching tool for any of you out there beginning your journey of tarot. You might find you love one of the decks that's presented more than another. You might find you gravitate towards one of us, and you can ask us questions afterwards below the videos or on Facebook, wherever you see it shared. So yeah, so I'm Catharine Allan. I'm a clairvoyant, and I just wrote a book called A Little Bit of Intuition, which you'll see all over North America. Well, actually, I've had people even write to me from Australia. And I started off as an astrologer, and I moved into the tarot about 25 or more years ago now. And basically through deep concentration, trying to study astrology charts and tarot readings, I began to channel. And I didn't really realize that that's what was going on for quite a while. And just through a lifelong journey of healing and trusting my intuition as things unfolded, as I was healing, as I was moving through lots of different stuff in life, I learned a lot about how to develop it on your own, and it took it all the way to the level of the clairs, the clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and even mediumship. So I use the tarot intuitively, and I teach it intuitively. And today, even what we're doing is quite intuitive, because I will be pulling cards from my deck, which is the Thoth. And our guest today will also be pulling cards from a completely different deck that we haven't seen. And so we're both doing a little bit of, on the spot channeling. So our guest today, I'm going to flip the camera. Our guest today is Debbie. She's from Iowa. And she is from Dreamcatcher Dragon. And Debbie said she started to read tarot in high school. And then last year, she had sort of an awakening and realized she just had to share her gift and start her readings. And she focuses a lot on tarot and dream interpretation, and also teaches classes. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited about your book. I can't wait to get it. I'm going to have to look for that one.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that. It's really exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great. It's been a great journey with what's happening with it,
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about what deck you're using today? Maybe just hold up the deck that you're using.
So I use the Mystic Dreamers, and actually I've got the box right here. And
okay, you can pull it back just a little.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. That's good. Yep. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was the box that it came in. And I was just, when I was at the store looking for that special deck, you're very attracted to the boxes because that's all you can see. But I really liked, since I love dreams, I was especially attracted to that one. And I did make the store clerk actually open the box, because I'm like, I can't see what the card size is or anything, because the box is huge. I'm like, how big are these cards? So of course, this big, kind of the size of a little bit smaller than my iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just thought that they were really beautiful. And
Yeah,
this is the Major Arcana right here. And I just love the coloring, and I loved kind of the magical, the dreamlike feel, which really
yeah,
fits
they
it.
are. They're beautiful.
And this has definitely been my go-to deck. I also do use the traditional RW, but this one is my favorite.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that one because you know, it's nice to get away from the Rider Waite. We're gonna have plenty of people who use Rider Waite or Rider Waite based decks, and definitely I want to get into conversations with people who are hardcore Rider Waite people, because my Toth deck is usually like, ooh, Toth, you know. So mine is the Toth deck, and I like to demystify the Toth deck because a lot of people find it either scary or complicated, and it is pretty powerful and intense, and gave me headaches when I first started to read it. But now yeah, now I can interpret them pretty well, and yeah, so we're just gonna have some fun. So the first thing we're gonna do here is I'm gonna shuffle my deck, and I'm gonna cut a card, and I'm gonna hold it up, and
Okay.
I'm gonna just let you go. You know, you take a few minutes and you channel, or you notice or point out whatever you sense about that card, and then we'll switch it over to you, and you'll mirror which one in your Mystic Tarot, and I'll take a turn. So, all right, cut the cards. Oh, okay. So today's card is the Five of Cups.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting because it doesn't have the imagery that you get with the others, and so that makes it way different. So the colors, I see the orange in there, which is really vibrant, and that one color of that card, for some reason the coloring actually pops out more than the image, which is showing, see, I usually see this card as apathy, or not apathy, that's a Four of Cups, but kind of like the looking away. But this is almost showing an opportunity. When I see orange, I see like more of opportunities in creation. The cups are in a pentacle, which is fascinating. And so, of course, it's showing connection. So, and it's interesting because I want to go to the knowledge that I have. If cups is about love and emotions, and five is about change. And so you do see almost like a wheel, and how the cups are going almost like around, and it's almost like they're on a Ferris wheel, and they're kind of going around one at a time, which is where I would see the change, and almost the connection to the Wheel of Fortune. It'd be interesting to see what your Wheel of Fortune looks like. So I see a change, but it doesn't seem like a bad change. It seems like there's some really good potential. But I do see fear in the card as well, especially with those like leaves at the top, that almost are like sideways hearts, but they're sideways versus being straight up, which is kind of showing an emotional shift in there. So yeah, it's definitely a different meaning from your deck than my deck. Is kind of in when you see this, and it is really powerful. I can see that. And I also see a butterfly at the bottom, which is showing change, and growth and development. So of course, when I read, I always, look at the context of what the question is and the surrounding cards to help. And I know you do too, because that's kind of what can change or influence the meaning of it. But if I was to do this card as, what do I need to know for today? I would be looking at it as expect some change, but be looking for some opportunity to follow your heart and see some things growing that you might have missed if you weren't looking for them, is how I would read this as my daily card.
Okay.
How did I do?
No, it's always cool to hear other people's first impressions of your cards, because you're used to seeing it a certain way for so long, and somebody brings up like like the rotating wheel kind of thing that you mentioned is interesting, because I hadn't really looked at that. So I love that about these cards. Because they're intricate with all the design, you can see almost anything in them, like seeing things in the clouds, you know, every time it's different. So the Five of Cups here in this deck says disappointment. And if you look at the top, you see the symbol of Mars in between the leaves, and it almost looks like those two leaves are two faces facing each other. And so some sort of like competition or jealousy or aggression or something like that. Then at the bottom, I don't know if you can see, but there's a symbol for Scorpio down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the waters are dark, they're deep and they're dark. And then the orange above definitely to me gives a feeling of anger, perhaps. And the cups, they're all clean, but they're empty versus the water flowing. So it looks like a fountain that has ceased to work, you know, and maybe it needs to be cleaned up. And again, yeah, the butterfly, it almost looks like little pipes, little conduits for the water in the shape of a butterfly, and it needs to get working again. So yeah, you need to transform that emotion. The disappointment, you know, Mars and Scorpio in astrology can be like a very covert kind of energy. It can be like a very deep person, but it can also be a very secretive person. It can be jealousy and rivalry. Sometimes it can be occult as well. Like there is that pentagram, like you mentioned, but it's upside down as well. And a lot of people go, ooh, you know, black magic. And yet it's not a completely inverted pentagram, like because it continues up and meets at the top with those leaves. So there's a lot of sort of alchemy about shifting your emotional state, you know, and figuring out what is underneath this disappointment. And so for me, this card will show up a lot when there's been a breakup or a rupture in a relationship. And then for me, you know, I start to explore the psychology of what's going on deeper with this person in this relationship.
So,
does any of that bring anything more out to you as you look at the card now?
I mean, I can totally see what you're saying, and it's always interesting because, you know, as when you read cards, it's always kind of like the situation and the energy that you're getting too from it when you read it. But this is my first experience with the Thoth. Is it Thoth?
Yeah.
Okay, because I always was like looking at it, I'm like, how do I pronounce this? I can't say it. But hearing you say it,
yeah, with the TH, it's not obvious.
Yeah, and it's definitely more intuitive, and it definitely challenges the mind. I'm gonna have to get a deck and practice with it and get comfortable with it, because I really do like the feel of those cards, and that it's not so obvious as like when I show you mine. It's like you see what it is. It's very in your face with the emotion. So, but I think it's really cool because you can read into it. It's more like abstract art.
Yeah. I found this deck very psychological, and because of that, it's just probably informed the way I read has become more like a, you know, therapy. Often people say, I didn't come here, you know, because I needed a therapist or a shrink. I'm like, well, you know, that's what I'm here for. It's like to show you the truth. It's not to predict, you know, the wheel of the lottery numbers or so. This deck keeps it real, you know, for me on that psychological level.
Yeah, no, that would be really fun to pull those, and because when I show you mine, it's, you know, very, as I said, it's very obvious to see the imagery, and it's, you know, when they talk about it, you can get it. But this is kind of like playing with the ink blot cards a little bit more.
Yeah.
And what comes out for the psychological. But yeah, I can see the anger, and I see the chaos. But to me, it's kind of like it's more of a middle, where it's not a full-on fledged flare up or anger. It's kind of more of the disappointment. I think you said that as well, but I can definitely, especially with the hearts on their sides. And I didn't even catch the upside down pentacle. That's probably bad, but
no, that's the thing about these cards. I still look at them like to this day, sometimes after 20 something years of using them, and I'll still sometimes go, oh my God, you know, and I'll see something else. And when I do, I know that that's meant for that person. So
Yeah, and cool. And I love the way that you tie in that astrology, because that's the one thing I've tried astrology, I tried numerology, and for some reason my brain is just blowing. I'm like, nope, that's not the area that my heart is going to. I like the chakras.
oh
You could almost, yeah, that's the area that I'm studying right now. And so you could even tie in the chakra colors.
Yeah, well, the orange does correlate, right, to the sacral, and we're talking about Scorpio, which rules the sacral area. So we're talking about a deep imbalance. You know, if you want to go into the chakras in the astrology, it gets very deep about sexuality, this card, or boundaries, or money, you know, because Scorpio is sex, death, and other people's money.
Well, and then you've got the ovaries, actually, if you want to go into that. So the heart's ovaries, and so we're going into a whole different.
Yes, no, it could totally be ovaries. See, but this is why I love this deck, because the symbolism just keeps on giving, you know, and I love how deep it can get.
So if somebody was trying to get pregnant, this would be a card that's showing that they're having difficulty, that their body is going through change, and that things are just not happening, and that they're very disappointed. So
yeah, or it could be like a card of menopause or something, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's why you pulled it. No, that's written down. So it makes sense, because I do believe whenever a card shows up, there's something, a message that I'm supposed to be getting from it.
Yeah,
you know, you're pulling them kind of randomly, so that's what you're trying to tell me. No, that was really,
you know, it could be reflecting me as well. So, but yeah. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around and let's see your 5 of Cups.
Okay, so
you got to hold. Let's figure out where to hold it beside your face so we still see you.
Okay, like better
and
there?
A little closer to your camera so I can see her. There we go. That's good.
Okay.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So
totally
the first thing I feel is she's standing alone, but it feels like she doesn't mind standing alone. I see the 2 cups off to the side and the 3 that are laying down in front of her. And it feels like there's relationship pain, and also a bit of because the 2 cups are together and upright like a little couple, but they're behind her. She's sort of behind her, but she's still looking. So it tells me okay, there's some romantic thing she's missing, or she's not over quite yet. But there's been something, the 3 cups in front of her that look like they've fallen over. Looks like there's maybe been some drama or some other people involved or interference. Can you hold it down just a bit? Just down, because you want to see in the background? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, the waters behind her are nice and calm and clean. There's a whole lot of space and vista. She just sort of has to decide to turn around and go towards the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else that you see in there? Or?
I feel like I'm seeing a crystal in there somewhere, but I'm not sure because, you know, it's a small camera I'm on. But it almost looks like there's like a sphere or a crystal ball in the back, sort of at the top left corner. So I don't know if that's there. I mean, because it's hard to see on this little camera. Then yeah, it feels like there's a lot of power in her to manifest what she wants in the future if she can get over her emotional state. She's actually quite powerful. I think I'll leave it at that and see what you say. Yeah.
You are awesome. I'm looking for, oh, I think the crystal's at the moon right there that you're seeing.
A little bit lower than that, like where there's sort of a mountain. There looks to me like there's a sphere.
Yeah, that's a ship.
It's what?
It's a boat. There's a boat.
Oh, okay. I couldn't see.
No, you know what? But that's okay, because I think your interpretation is pretty much the exact same one that I use, in that she's missing out on the opportunities. She's so hyper focused on the emptiness that she's forgetting that there's actually positivity that's in her life.
Yeah.
And if she would just turn around, she's going to see this great opportunity that she's missing. I do a lot of career reads. And so usually those are the ones that I absolutely love. I love helping, using the tarot to help them discover what their higher purpose is and where they need, in what direction they need to go. And then this one is usually when this one pops up, is what it's saying, is that they're so focused on what they hate about their job or what they dislike or about the pain and the agony or the failures that they're forgetting about those successes, and that usually there might be another option that's definitely stronger. I got this in one reading. She was applying for another job and she wanted to know what her chances were, and the reading was, you know, reading focused on that wasn't the job for her that she was applying for, but that there was something stronger for her that she wasn't seeing that was in her current timeline, and she just needed to turn around or almost visit with the hanged man to see, to see what it was where she should be. So yeah.
Yeah, lovely. I love it. They're beautiful, beautiful cards. So
Yeah.
now, like, we'll turn it around and we'll have you shuffle,
Okay.
and then you can hold up your card, and I'll go for it, and then we'll match it in mine.
Awesome. But yeah, it's funny because it's like, even though I know the numerology and I know the suits, and I can, you know, pretty much use them kind of like a deck of playing cards to interpret them, when you see the imagery on different cards, it just definitely makes it feel a little different. So, okay, so let's see. Oh, you know what? Oh, this is fun. It fell out.
Okay, it must be meant to be then.
Okay, so the Three of Cups.
Okay, so if you can just pull it back a little bit.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Oh, nice.
Isn't it beautiful?
So yeah. So the first thing jumps out at me. Of course, the women are like goddesses, and they're very creative. They're dancing, they're flowing. But the behind them, even though it's supposed to be a planet, it looks a little more like a fluorite to me. Looks like a gemstone. And so that's interesting, because fluorite will be related to opening up your third eye and connecting to your crown chakra. And so it's sort of like a divine, channeling the divine feminine energy, this card, and into your creativity and bonding, you know, with people. The three of them are harmoniously together. Usually threesomes are complicated, and these three are somehow getting getting along in tandem. And is very lush. I'm not sure what kind of flowers that are around them, but that would be another, or what kind of tree exactly that is, but that'd be another thing. I'd look up the symbolism if I figured out what kind of tree or flowers they're in. And they're holding, what is that, flags? What are they holding? There's something red.
I thought they were cups, but you know,
They must be cups, yeah.
But they could be those flowers too, now that I look at them a little closer.
Can you put it closer to the camera, maybe, so see if it'll focus on the cups? Oh,
yeah,
there
they are flowers, actually.
they
look
okay, that's interesting. They're flowers that look like cups then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very lovely, and very sexy too, eh? Like, you have the one who's in white, who's all pure. You have the other one who's all, you know, sheer and sexy and sort of black, and then you have like a silvery one. So it's like three different versions of femininity going on in this card too. It's a very divine feminine feel, this card. I'll put the camera on you now, and you can tell us.
Yeah, perfect.
Whoops, I did before. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I love reading with you. I'm like, I might have to do this for just fun. I might be like, okay, what do you get out of this card?
Well, we'll do another one for sure.
Definitely, I see your gift and I see your intuition, which I absolutely love. You read from the heart, which is really fun to see. So yeah, when I see this one, it's definitely about the three: friendship, celebration, having fun, letting go of the stress, and focusing on the good times. There's the giant moon, which could, you know, it's almost like they're doing a full moon circle. So you've got that start of a new cycle. Of course, cups. We seem to be in the cups zone today, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that emotion. So it's definitely a happy emotion, where things are good, and that if you had like a duality of, like, if it was you and something, it's the opening up of allowing another person or even another talent or another career. It doesn't necessarily have to be people, but you're allowing a third element into your state of mind, into your circle of emotional needs. So is kind of how I read this. Or, you know, I pulled this and it's like, oh, girls' night out, I'm supposed to go. Like, you know, the other night, like, should I go to Taekwondo or should I go to a networking event? And I got this one. I'm like, Taekwondo, I have my really good friends are all in Taekwondo, and that's what we do together. And so it was like, oh, Taekwondo. So yeah,
That's
I love,
cool.
yeah. And then the only thing, I like the rainbow colors. They're not really rainbow. They're more like solar flare, like the nighttime color variation, but it's so bright and it's so full.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite cards. No matter what deck, it's one of my favorite cards.
I'm looking forward to seeing yours.
Okay.
Yes.
So here we go.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm ready.
Go for it.
Can you angle it just a little because it seems like the light's reflecting it. So.
That better?
Yeah, it's so simple. It's like they're so different. So I see the 3 and I see the cups, but the cool thing is that they have crowns on them. So you can definitely see the people that are being represented by the cups. So you get that connection between that's similar to my deck and your deck. They almost look like fountains, but I see light pouring out from the crowns. So you definitely get this positive and happy vibe that whatever is being adjoined of this 3 is definitely something positive and good to move forward. The red could be slightly a warning, but it's also warm. So it could be like a be careful of having too much fun or taking this in. You know, always be aware that with everything, with every gift, there is a price. Yeah, but that this is something though that you should really enjoy and you should really embrace. And this opportunity that you're being presented with is something to definitely, you should move ahead with whatever this is. I could see it too as if you're trying to get pregnant, this would be like a family, like, oh, it's mommy and daddy and baby now coming about. So if you were trying to get pregnant, this would be definitely a ta-da! We get a fallacy as well. I also see water. The blue to me shows water, which is interesting because mine has no water. But again, with the cups, we usually, those represent water. So it's kind of surprising that this one doesn't have any water in it, since that's the earth element of it. And the patterns on the cups are cool too. And I know when I look at it, I almost see plaid, but I know it's not plaid. It's more of they're like almost like flowers that are like petals from my standpoint that look like they're almost placed on top of each other. And of course, when you think of flowers, you think of blooming and something that has come to fruition. So yeah, so definitely a good, and I love the light, that's the spotlights that are, it's like a fountain of spotlights instead of, and you know what, that's probably water, but from like the angle that it's, and it'll be, when you see it, yeah, it is water, but it looks like, yeah, but it looks definitely like spotlights, like, it's just really, really cool. And then it almost, it's like the, you know, it's like as you look at things, so the crowns are almost the shower heads as well. Yeah. So it's like, it's, which makes you think that whatever's happening is coming from your crown chakra and just kind of rushing over you. So if I was to get this card in a career read, I would say it's time to bring in a partner, or it's time to find a new customer, or it's time to give somebody a promotion, or you're going to get a promotion and move up in the level. In a relationship read, I would be about letting somebody new in or having a baby, or even positive counseling could be happening there. That's going to really help your relationship. So I know, and I always like to try to think of them in how different reads it could apply. And then of course, surrounding cards can always change it a little bit. But this one is
Yeah.
definitely, you know, like if you got this with the death card, it would be kind of interesting to say that this change is going to be positive. So though something is moving on and a chapter is finishing, that this is going to bring positivity and that it's something that you should be embracing instead of fearing or letting.
Yeah, well, maybe future tarot talks we should do interpretive, like side-by-side cards and just see.
Yeah.
Those will have to be longer shows,
Yeah,
but that
yeah,
would be a good way. That'd be a good direction.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the Three of Cups here, yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. So yeah, the flowers are full and they're golden and they're full of light and they're pouring water all over these cups, which are quite deep. And to me they look sort of, yeah, like flowers, or they could look like grapes. But they look lush. They look like they're bursting with, you know, fertility, or with, like, they're at the height of their season. And the water below is clean and clear again. So in this deck, all the elements are shown. The element will tell you a lot about the card on these cards. So some of the cups cards, the water looks like a swamp, and to indicate the quality of fluids in the body, the quality of emotion, the quality of your psyche, you know, based on the image of the water. So here it's all nice and clean and clear, and there's just little rings in the water. This card for me always feels like a celebration, almost like a wedding sculpture, you know, or a celebration that can happen. And yeah, as you said, also it can be allowing other people in. So it could be the baby that comes, but it could also be, you know, once your couple reaches more maturity and you start to meet the friends and you meet the parents, and you're including more like of a group or a community into your relationship, because it's secure now. The Two of Cups has happened, the bond is there, and now you're expanding your lives. And also it brings in the spirit. Whenever there's a three, you're talking about trinities, holy trinities. And so it's bringing the spiritual. That's why, like you said, the bringing in the crown chakra. The astrology of the card, if you can see at the top, is the sign of Mercury. And at the bottom, it's sort of hard to see it, but is the sign of Cancer. And it says abundance. So Mercury in Cancer, Mercury is supposed to be, you know, more logical and sort of naming things and itemizing things and very articulate, and it's like an orderly mind. And Cancer is not that. Cancer is all about emotion. So the mind is more intuitive. It's more empathic. It's sort of Mercury and Cancer, they sort of just understand you without words. They don't have to use words and they have a very retentive memory. And they'll speak or interact very gently, with a lot of thoughtfulness, a lot of nurturing. So if you have a card of abundance where the quality of communication is very Cancerian, it's like there's just this big sort of, ooh, you know, I could stay here forever kind of cozy feeling about this abundance. It's not material abundance. It's sort of emotional or spiritual abundance. Kitty wants to be part of it.
Yes. And I had the door shut. You pulled it open. Sorry. Oh.
So I'm going to wrap up for today, but if you want to catch Debbie at Dreamcatcher Dragon, how do we reach you, Debbie?
I'm on Facebook, so if you just do facebook.com/Dreamcatcher Dragon, you can find my page. I'm a little bit newer to the professional. I don't have a YouTube channel yet, but that's something that I'll focus on. But you can follow me there. I like to give little tips, and I do a card of the week, and sometimes we'll do the free readings and fun stuff like that. So
great.
Yeah, this was really fun.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was great. I'll definitely have you back again, and we'll do some more cards, or some interpreting how 2 cards or 3 cards as they come up.
Ooh, that could be
like that in the future.
Yeah,
and anybody, if you're a reader and you're inspired by this and you want to come on the show, just message me under this video. You can message myself or Debbie under the videos if you've got questions for us specifically. Otherwise, I'm going to share this all across my pages. If you want to reach me, You can reach me on Facebook at Clairvoyant Guide Catharine Allan, and on my website, river.rain.info. So thank you, Debbie. Have a good day.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure.